Yeah, so I do miss him, and the grieving process was tough. People just think he's a pet, but in reality, it's like a human passing away, right? Someone really close to you. So we grieved, and till today, there's days that I miss him tremendously, and I wish he was here. Hey everyone, welcome to one more episode of PJ Podcast. On this episode, I'm going to be talking about losing my pet, my cat. It was our family cat. It was the first pet that we ever had besides birds, and it really affected me. We had him for almost 15 years, and I still remember the first day that we got him. He was like this cute little thing. My mom actually found him at the bakery, at my dad's bakery, and the poor thing got hit in the head by a box by accident. So my mom wanted to save him. When he got to the house, I remember I never had a pet, a cat, a dog ever in my life. So this was the first time. And I thought she had a squirrel in the room. And I was like, what is this? So he gets up, it's this like little thing. He starts crawling up my sister's and my leg, and we freaked out. We literally jumped on the counters. Like, we were screaming. My mom thought we were insane, honestly. After that, my mom was like, calm down, it's a cat, he won't do any harm, he's scared. So he had a lot of health issues. We actually saved his life. He had seizures, he was getting blind and deaf all at the same time because of the box falling on his head. Years went on and his health progressed, and thankfully he got better. We got really close to him. He was there through our good and bad days. No, he actually became part of the family. Like, he was a brother that I never had. Unfortunately, that sounds weird, but it is. You know, I grew up with 3 sisters, never had a brother, and this was like the first male cats that came into the life, and we became very close. And I'm a very spiritual person, and I think animals are also very spiritual, and they come into our lives for a reason. So I think he came into our lives to teach us many things. And people are like, well, he's just a cat. Number one, animals are life. To me, I am more sensitive to an animal versus a human. So when someone says that, I'm like, you have no heart. He, with all his sicknesses and all that, I mean, he did have a downfall. At one point, he started to have seizures, and we had to take him to the vet, and he had to stay overnight. We were scared that was cancer, or he had to get some type of head surgery, and we had said no because he was already suffering with all those surgeries. I don't think an animal should go through that. He was the king of the house. We did everything for him. Cats or any animals are good for her mental health and for emotional support. Bubba showed me the love and the affection, and he always protected us no matter what. He was there for the good and the bad. It was someone that we knew that would be around, maybe to talk to, vent to. Yes, he was an animal or a pet, but it was that companionship, right? Right now, I'm debating if I should adopt another kitten because I don't know if I want to go through that loss again, but it's good to have that pet with you at all times because it's good for your mental health, especially if you're going through depression, having anxiety, living alone. You know, he would cuddle with me on the couch while I was watching TV, or with my parents, or with my sisters. He was always there, and he would meow very loud at 3 o'clock in the morning and wake the whole house up. We did have a second cat after, but they never got along. Unfortunately, the little one is a little feisty. They weren't friendly to each other. So unfortunately, he passed away last summer. He was sick for a while. I think he would go that fast like he did. I know he had a great life. He was the king of the house. We did everything for our Bubba. And we still do, and I think he's still here in spirit, and he's looking down on us. So the grieving process for this was very hard. I didn't think it would hit me that hard. I was like, oh, he's just my cat. I lost my grandparents before this. It hit me hard, but losing my pet hit me even harder, and I went through some grieving without really anyone knowing. So he passed away in June. We were actually away for the weekend, and when we got home, he was waiting for us. This is a very touchy topic. Before he passed, he was laying on his bed. I still remember like it was yesterday. Unfortunately, that day we were really busy. We came back from an Indian wedding, and then we had to go to the Portuguese Day feast because I was in the parade for my show. My mom's like, oh, we have to say goodbye to him because I don't think he's gonna last long. He was very cold, he was barely breathing, and he was there. You could tell like he was crying. So like we all said our goodbyes, and didn't it hit me that when I would get home, he would not be alive. We all said our goodbyes. He started to get up, so I was like, oh no, he's fine. Like my mom's like, no, this is like his way of saying goodbye. Like we gave him some water just to make sure, because he wasn't eating, he wasn't drinking anything. So when I got home, unfortunately Bubba had passed away, and it felt very weird when I saw his body. It didn't hit me then, and I don't think it hit me for a while. And I was getting my lower back surgery, as you guys know, a few months later. And in my mind, he was the one that was going to accompany me throughout the recovery, because that's what he would do. He would be on me, cuddle with me, be on the couch with me. So in my mind, I'm still thinking, oh, Bubba's going to be with me. We did like a whole funeral for him. It hit my mom also a lot because it was her son. And unfortunately for Ballingish, who is the second cat, she also got hit a lot by, because yes, they didn't get along, but they were still in the same household and they were there. They were each other's company when nobody was home. She fell into a depression. The first few weeks after he passed away, it was hard not to throw his stuff away, like his favorite blanket or his bed. I wanted to keep it all. I actually still have a piece of his hair that I cut off of him. I have it with in my little baggie, and it's with me every night in my headstand. So when he passed away a few weeks after, I also thought he was there. Coping with it was hard, and I would look at where he always sat on the couch and think that he was there. I'd be like, oh, hey, Bubba, unintentionally, because I would forget that he's no longer with us. So that was one thing I was going through after he passed away, was that denial of, no, he's here. And I would see him or feel like I saw him or on the chair that he would sit on. As the months went on, that's when I started realizing that he's no longer with us. And then I got my back surgery, and that's when it's like, yeah, he's not here, but he's here in spirit. I would go to his burial site, and we did like a cute little box for him. I put pictures of him, and every day after that, I would bring Ballingish with me outside, and we would just sit next to the burial. And I remember this one day, I was sitting and I was like, hey, Bubba, I know you're here somewhere. Please give me a sign. And to me, those red birds, to me, they're angels. And I always think it's always, whenever they come and sing, there is someone from that just passed away. So we were there, me and Ballingish sitting on the floor next to him, and all of a sudden this red bird pops up and starts singing. And I looked up and I was like, all right, I know you're here. You're here with me. So it was like the first time it hit me, because it's like, wow, he's really not here, but he's here in spirit, and this is a sign from him that he's okay. He is no longer suffering. But until this day, I miss him a lot. Yes, he was my pet and he was my cat, but he was like a family member to me. I do miss him snoring in my face or sneezing all over me. It's the little things that, and it hits you right out of nowhere sometimes. Sometimes I hear him meowing, and I like look back, I was like, Bubba, you're here? No. It's just, I guess you feel like they're always there, but they're not. I even got like a big canvas of him in my house now, just for him to never be forgotten, because he was a very special cat for us. Like I said, I think they're very spiritual, and they came into our lives. He came into our lives when we were in a really bad state. We just had bought a new house, a new bakery. We almost went bankrupt. So he was there for all of that. He was there for the ups and downs. He was there for my sister's wedding, both of my sister's weddings. When my nieces and nephews were born, he got to meet 3 out of 4. And they loved him since day one. He was very, very caring cat. When my sisters were pregnant, he would like go on their belly and just be with the babies. Yeah, so I do miss him, and the grieving process was tough. People just think he's a pet, but in reality, it's like a human passing away, right? Someone really close to you. So we grieved, and till today, there's days that I miss him tremendously, and I wish he was here. But I know he gives me signs. I know he's here watching me. He's an angel. And I just think positive and keep his memory alive. So anyone that lost a pet, you're not alone. He might not be a human, but he's someone special in your heart. So it's okay to grieve and to go through that process of being numb, crying, be in denial, which I was for a very long time. But then it just hits you, right? And then it's like, wow, he's really not here. He's not here with us. He's not here to see everything else that we're going through of the accomplishments, right? So the grieving process is tough, but you're not alone. And I know many of you guys out there have lost a pet and they crossed that rainbow bridge. But you know what? They're in a better place. They're up there running around, barking, meowing, or whichever pet you lost, they're up there. They're all playing with each other right now. And there always will be there in spirit with you. So I hope this episode will help anyone who's grieving losing a pet. It's okay to grieve, but you know what? Just think that they're in a better place. They're not suffering in this world anymore, and they are and will always be with you in spirit. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Stay tuned for more episodes. See you on the next one.